middle of the ocean.
Probably have.
All right, it's 5:30. We're gonna start
I could.
the workshop, and it's March 29th, 2018, and it is after 5:30, and we're gonna start the workshop. Bruce, is anybody on citizens'
No, sir,
comments?
nobody signed up.
Seeing nobody on citizens' comments, we're just gonna start into the workshop. I've got the prayer, pledge allegiance with Alderman Brown. Everybody look over the minutes for March 6, 2018 public hearing and regular meeting for March 6, 2018. We will have one outstanding performance award for Tuesday, puts us down to old business. Second reading ordinance 2018-04, an ordinance to amend the Laverne zoning ordinance regarding used car sales. This received a favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission on November the 28th, 2017. Public hearing will be held Tuesday, April the 3rd, 2018 at 6:30. We had first reading last month. Any questions, any discussion we need to be on number 4? This is the regulate used car sales. Number 5, second reading ordinance 2018-05. This is an ordinance to amend the Laverne zoning ordinance to remove self-storage mini warehouses from commercial zoning district. This also received a favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission on February 27, 2018. And this also will have a public hearing, will be held April 3rd, 2018 at 6 p.m. We had this last month on first reading. Any questions concerning the mini storage? Puts us down to 6, motion to approve or reject bids for the asphalt paving and material bid. We had this last month and it was deferred. It was deferred to this month. Any questions or discussion we need to have on the asphalt bidding?
Felicia,
Felicia?
You'll notice there's a spreadsheet attached. Y'all have are there any questions?
this is based on our existing plans.
Yes. This is based on the list that they plan to pave in the next 3 years.
Okay, awesome,
This is a 3-year plan.
good.
Any questions for Lisa? She's here to answer any questions. Hearing and seeing nobody, we'll move on to consent agenda. Number 7. First to be A, motion to approve or reject city bids purchases. 1A is state contract purchase van for senior citizen.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
The first vehicle, this Dodge Caravan is for the small. This is not the bus. The bus is not on state contract now, so we cannot purchase the bus until they either put it on state contract or we bid that out specifically. But this is for the Caravan they drive. This would be equal to that, except it would be a stow and go, and it would come out of Columbia at 23,583.25.
What brand is it?
Dodge Caravan.
It's just like, I think the one they got now is a,
It's similar. The one they've got now, they have to take the seats out when they need to
it's not.
go to Sam's
it's
or
not,
anything. This one they wouldn't have to.
What they call store and go.
Right. It's not a stow and go. It's, how old is it, AC? I would say it's a 90s model, early 2000.
Yeah, it's between a 98 and a 2003. It's $1 used to drive.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, any question on the little minivan?
All of these are from the current fiscal year, is that correct?
All these are for the current fiscal year, but these were requests that were made at the budget retreat, the planning retreat.
Okay,
And we're pulling them up to the current budget year.
okay.
So what I've got here, I have been told, are on the lot. I'm not, that reason I'm stressing that is because we have some in here from Fort Murfreesboro. So I'm stressing that I've been told they're on the lot.
Okay.
Anything else for the minivan? We're down to two. That's a NJPA contract purchase utility vehicle for the Park and Recreation Department.
Yes, sir. This is one that AC preferred. It is a four-seater that can be folded down to have a bed and be a two-seater, but he can flip it up and have 4 seats. And that is off of the National Joint Powers Alliance.
Explain a
Purchase.
utility vehicle.
Explain one?
Is it a van or truck or what?
No, sir. It's a toy.
It's like an ATV like that.
We haul potatoes for them,
There she goes.
ball field stuff.
About like one of them Toros.
Look at the,
Okay. Any question on it? Put you down number 3. This is a NJPA contract purchase utility vehicle for the
for the
maintenance.
maintenance department.
Now, what kind of vehicle is this?
It's an off-road vehicle.
Like a side-by-side?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, if you'd like to call it that. Yes, sir.
Okay.
This one's a two-seater with the big bed on it.
Okay. Any question on the side-by-side? Number 4, purchase more for maintenance department.
Okay, the maintenance department is taking over a lot of the mowing down here, and they are in need of a mower, and we've got 3 different quotes here. And Lewisburg Garden Center came in at the lowest for the same type of mower.
And this is a 0 turn.
Yes.
Yes, I thought so. I just want to make sure. I've got a lot of things in here, so. Okay, my eyes are already crossing.
Any questions on the mower for maintenance? Number 5, purchase trailer for the maintenance department. I guess this is to tow the mower.
Yes, sir, but this is a gooseneck, so they can tow more than one mower. They could tow 2 or 3 mowers at the
It's
same
like
time.
big
It's
enough to
heavy
haul a
duty.
backhoe like
It's
that.
yes, it could also, you could haul the backhoes at Public Works or Stormwater with it, yes, sir.
A backhoe trailer. Any question on the heavy-duty trailer? Number 6, state contract purchase cold planter for street department.
This is so that the street department can patch
Can-
potholes and
Can
things.
plant cold trees or something?
No, sir, it's for asphalt. I'm not gonna pull any
That's
more
the-
jokes.
Now, this is to use to patch potholes, right? Yeah.
Asphalt is, it's like a milling machine, is what it
Okay.
is, just a small version of it.
What they do to grind the asphalt up? Okay. Any questions on the asphalt grinding machine? Number 7, purchase tool storage system for fleet maintenance department.
Yes, sir, this would be a locking tool system so that, the Thomas and Mr. Phillip could store their tools properly and know exactly where they are when they go to get them. And it has more space in it, my understanding, than the one they've got.
So it's a roll-around snap-on toolbox, one of them huge ones.
Yes, sir. Huge. Yes, sir.
This is the one with a lifetime guarantee.
Yes.
I think all snap-on stuff is lifetime, ain't it, Carly? Any questions on the storage system? That puts down number 8. That's state contract purchase 1-ton truck for maintenance department.
This would be a 1-ton diesel truck with a regular cab, and that would be able to pull the heavy-duty trailer, and maintenance would allow,
It's set up, is it already got the gooseneck?
Yes, sir.
Plate and everything in it?
we've ordered it with we would order it with the gooseneck and everything, yes, sir.
Garland, is it a flatbed or is it Has it got a regular bed on it?
No, it's got a regular, 8-foot bed on it, single cab, 8-foot bed.
Okay.
It'll have the gooseneck adapter in the bed, and with the tow package on the back end of it.
Okay. Any questions on the one-ton maintenance department truck? Number 10, state contract purchase truck for codes department.
You skipped one, sir.
Number 9.
Did I
You
put
skipped number 9, which would be the truck for
Okay,
maintenance.
number 9 is state contract purchase truck for maintenance department.
This would be
Oh,
for
it's not a
Mr.
one-ton.
Webster.
Okay.
This would be for Mr. Webster when he goes around
To
to take
replace that
the.
old blue clunker?
Yes, sir. Well, he has to change. He has to get in the blue truck when he needs to haul things. And then when he's got the guys to go clean the buildings, he has to use one of the, what is it, an older Jeep.
Okay. Is it a regular cab, or it's gonna be a dual cab?
This is gonna be a 4-door.
Four-door car, okay.
Yes, sir.
Any questions on the smaller truck for maintenance? Let me put smaller down here. Number 10, state contract purchase truck for the codes department.
This would be a truck that would be either replacing an old truck or for the new employee.
And it's a regular cab?
Yeah, it's gonna be
half-ton?
extended cab.
Extended cab,
And remember, as I said, if Ford has these on the,
supposed to have, okay.
yes,
Any
sir.
questions on the codes department truck? Number 11, state contract purchase 2 service trucks for the water department.
These are 2 F-250 service trucks that would be for the water department from Ford of Murfreesboro.
And this is not for water billing, it's for water
Water,
department, okay.
yes, sir. This is for the water department.
Any question on the trucks for the water department? Number 12, state contract purchase truck for the water department?
Yes, sir. This is actually for the leak detection side.
And these be just a steamy cab or,
Well, we're asking for a super cab in case they don't have the crew cab. I'd rather be asking for the bigger one to get.
at least be a
the small-
4-door or a
Right.
steamy cab? Okay.
I'd rather ask for the 4-door and hope that they've got the 2-door and can save some
Any
money.
question on the truck for the water department? Number 13, state contract purchase vehicle for economic development department.
This is a vehicle for Tom to replace the old.
What has Tom been driving? Just whatever's
I'm really not sure
available?
what he's been driving. I think whatever he can find.
Okay.
That's what I thought. I've seen
Okay.
him in that.
Any question on economic truck? Number 14, state contract purchase truck for Park and Recreation Department. Didn't we already have that?
No, sir. This is for 2 extended cabs for the Parks Department.
Oh, it's 2 trucks.
Yes, sir. This is 2 trucks.
Okay, I got just trucks. I bet it's trucks. Okay, this is 2 trucks. Okay. Any question on the 2 trucks for the Park and Rec? Number 15, insulation repair for Fire Station 2.
Station 2 is in need of some repairs, and they need some more insulation inside the walls.
Any questions on the insulation? 16, purchase swift water rescue equipment for fire department.
If you have any questions on this, I'll defer to Chief Clark here.
What is that, more than one piece of equipment?
It outfits 10 people, doesn't it?
It outfits 12 people and a assorted amount of gear from head to toe. And also included in there is a rescue raft. We would do more rescues by paddling than we ever would be with a motorized boat. It's what we used in Houston, it's what we used in South Carolina, it's what we use here. So we feel that it'd be best to purchase this raft versus a motorized
But it
boat.
ain't no motor in it. It just,
This is not a lake boat. This is
Paddle.
running raw water down Minerva Drive.
Okay. Like what, whitewater rafting day?
That's correct.
Okay,
Same thing they're using on the Ocoee.
okay. Good deal.
Were they looking into something from a grant on this? I thought we were looking at something.
We are. We're also inquiring not only local, but also federal money as well.
Okay. I remember you saying something about Swiftwater, and there was a grant that was
Yes, sir.
out there.
We're double teaming it.
Okay.
If it keeps raining, we might get to use it sooner than we hoped.
Number 17, purchase bed and mattresses for fire department.
This is for stations, for some of the beds that have kind of fell apart.
18, purchase, replace carpet for fire station 2 and 3.
Now, these would be towels, so sort of like what the floor is in here, in case there were just spots that needed to be replaced. They would just have to replace spots instead of the whole carpet.
Nineteen, purchase connect generator to fire station 2.
This is really coming off of a contract we have with Seals Electric for any electrical work, but it's some work that needs to be done at Station 2.
Is it something like the one we got it back at City Hall, one of them big generators like that?
Yeah, it's the old PD generator. If you remember, it wouldn't hold the kilohertz as it needed to be for a communications center, and it has to stay within a certain range. It got so old, it wouldn't do that anymore, so we had to get a new one when we needed the two for here and there. But it would still function for a backup electricity for the doors and the radios in a fire station. So rather than junking it, we took it over. Chief was good enough to let us have it for Station 2. It's been sitting for 2 years though, and not hooked up. When TML come in, they advised us it would be a pretty good idea if you've got a backup generator to hook it up, not just to let it sit here. So
Okay. Puts us down to number 20.
What's this backup dispatch?
Revamp the City Hall kitchen and break room.
Mayor, I can speak about this. You know, this space back here behind us is heavily utilized by both staff, and we use it a lot for, you know, prior to workshops and whatnot, whenever we have special events or workshops or meetings. We feel it could be better utilized, and if we could remodel that and knock out that wall between the kitchen and the break room. This is the only building, I believe, in the city that does not have a stove in it for preparing meals or keeping food warm or whatever the case may be. David has gone and gotten some quotes for portions of it, which are attached in the memo. We believe the total cost to be approximately $14,000.
Any question on the new kitchen for City Hall?
Would David's team be doing most of the work in it, or would that be outsourced?
Most of the work would be done by the maintenance department. There is some electrical work and things like that that will have to be subbed out by our electrical contractor that we have a contract with already. But I'd say the vast majority of the work will be done in-house.
Puts it down to B, approve professional service agreement with Kimberly Horn and Associates, Inc. for the Old Nashville Highway Corridor Study. That might be Adam there.
Mayor, Board of Aldermen, the professional services agreement for the Nashville, or Old Nashville Highway Corridor Study is kind of the first step to figuring out what it would cost to eventually widen the Old Nashville Highway to whatever is appropriate for the amount of traffic that we predict will be on the roadway in the next 20 years. As part of this, there will be a boundary survey where we determine the right-of-way. We're also going to look at some potential alignment changes to fix the hairpin curve there ahead of the railroad bridge. We'll look at every intersection between the railroad bridge and Smyrna to determine if they're operating at the correct level of service. We'll look at all the fatalities, crashes, etc., that type of thing, to make sure that some of the unsignalized intersections that they may end up needing to be signalized. So we'll do a study on all those. And it will also, this is kind of your first step to being able to go after federal money from the Metropolitan Planning Organization. So we selected Kimley Horn because I've had good history with them. They were very responsive to our needs. They got everything turned around quickly, and I think they'll do a good job.
Any question for Adam while he's up about the old Nashville Highway corridor study?
And this is just over $100,000, looking at the contract, is that right?
Yes, sir.
That puts it down to C, approve contract to audit accounts with Yearly Howell and Associates. Phyllis?
Mayor, this is our annual audit. We generally have to approve the contracts so that the state can review those early in the year, which is around March, April. After reviewing this, I looked at their fees, and the fees went up, I think, about $850 from last year, so it's pretty reasonable. They've kept their costs down pretty low for us. And this will be for the audit of fiscal year 17-18.
Any questions for Phyllis on the audit? I guess that ends up the consent agenda. Chief Walker, I didn't see no police cars in on the deal. You got left out.
No, we've got ours ordered.
Okay.
We've got, if you'll remember, a couple of months ago, we ordered one from Drug Fund, and then we had 4 generic special service vehicles from Wilson County Motors, Chevrolet dealership. The Tahoes were 5,300 more than the utilities, so we went back to Ford of Murfreesboro for those, but we didn't buy the other cars from Ford of Murfreesboro because they never would give us quotes on the other vehicles. So we should have the Chevys in within the next 2 to 3 weeks from what they said up front, and the good Lord only knows when we might get the utilities. Hopefully we'll get them in time to get everything paid for in this fiscal year. If not, we're gonna do something, aren't we, Phyllis?
Good, I didn't want to make sure you wouldn't be left out on that.
No, sir. No, sir, we're not.
Now we're down to new business. First reading ordinance 2018-06. This is an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2017-18 drug fund budget. Phyllis?
As the chief was just discussing his vehicles, the first one is basically we're transferring line item monies from one line to another to help with the purchase of these vehicles. There were some line items that he doesn't think he's going to be using the full potential of the line items, so we're going to move those around so that we can purchase, help pay for these vehicles or the equipment out of the drug fund.
Any questions on number 8? Number 9, first reading ordinance 2018-07, ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2017-2018 police impact fee fund budget.
Again, this is basically the same thing. In his 2017-18 budget, the chief had $40,000 in the building line item for the climate-controlled secure room, evidence room, and the project came in under cost, so he wants to allocate the rest of the budget that was on that line item and move it up into his transportation line item so that he can assist in paying for the vehicles.
Any questions on number 9? Number 10, first reading ordinance 2018-08, ordinance to amend fiscal year 2017-2018 capital, number 10, Parks Capital Projects Fund budget.
Yes, we're doing this budget amendment due to the additional cost that have incurred on the Greenway. This will be our portion of the grant, so we're taking the funds out of the fund balance of that capital projects parks and be using that for our 20% match on the grant.
And that was a 80-20, that was originally an 80-20 deal, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Hopefully this will wrap up the Greenway.
Yes, we hope so. Because we did not budget for anything for 18, 19, so this is it.
Maybe we won't have no floods that'll wash anything away. But I guess it's best to find out the weak points now than later, I guess. That puts it down to number 11, first reading, ordinance 2018-09, the ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2017-2018 general fund budget.
Felicia went over a lot of the vehicles that we are purchasing this year that we're doing, and a lot of this vehicles and equipment, and a lot of this amendment has to do with those purchases, but there are some additional year-end type cleanup stuff that we know that we need to go ahead and take care of, so we went ahead and incorporated all the general fund into one amendment. It's fairly large. I want to start off by talking about the first section of it that has to do with health insurance. I think at the retreat I mentioned to you guys that our reserves for our employee benefit fund was starting to go down due to the rise in claims that we've had this year. So we wanted to replenish that fund and get it up to a healthier balance. In order to do that, of course, we have to do the budget amendment, and it affects every single department. I think for the general fund, that portion is about $340,000 if you add up all these line items for just the health insurance. Once you get past those departments, another year-end cleanup that we're doing is, of course, we have an employee that's retiring in the tax department, and this person has quite a bit of vacation that will be paid out, so we need to go ahead and make an adjustment for that. Directly underneath that is the finance computer equipment. This is the upgrade to Next Gen that we have also discussed during retreat. $30,000 should cover a new server and the software upgrade. So we will hopefully get to move forward on that. The next couple items are IT. In small items of equipment, Glenn had requested some workstation refresh at approximately $70,000, and fiber optic extension approximately $50,000. And this is something that he wanted to plan for 17-18. Directly underneath that, we get into some of the vehicles that Felicia discussed in the codes department. We need to do an amendment for $30,000. City Hall repair and maintenance, Bruce talked about the $14,000 for the break room renovation. Next line item is our workers' comp property and liability insurance has gone up this year. A lot of that has to do with workers' comp. Whenever we increase wages, that increases workers' comp. So we had a substantial increase there due to some of that, along with some increases in property and liability. And then the next section, we start with our fire department. We did doing the amendments for the carpet, it's $4,100, the beds, $7,500. The $10,000 in building was for the civic renovation. You know, that was approved several months ago, but we're actually doing the amendment for that now, because if we don't, the budget's going to be over this year. And then, of course, we had the $11,000 in there for the Station 2 insulation. Also, we have the $30,000 in there for the generator and the swift water equipment. In the streets department, we have $37,000 amendment for a batwing mower and the coal planer. In the streets department, we have the $30,000 that we need to amend for a truck. Fleet department, we have $24,100 for the toolbox and tire balancer. In our culture, Monteque, I think, just got notification this week that we're now starting on the THDA home improvement project, and we've been given the go-ahead to start some funding on that. We've already incurred some expense, and of course with the THDA, we never know how much we're going to spend out of that in a given year. So this right here was what we have spent, or approximately what we have spent so far. I anticipate more, and we'll probably be doing another budget amendment for the THDA before the end of the year. But as of right now, we need to go ahead and do that for the THDA grant. Parks and Recreation, the 2 trucks that Felicia mentioned, we're doing a $60,000 on those. The Parks and Rec equipment, $15,000 on the utility equipment. On the maintenance department, we've got $35,000 for equipment, and that covers the trailer, the mower, and the utility vehicle. And then we also have $65,000 for the 2 vehicles, 2 trucks. In the library, Donna had requested the storage building. That's budget amendment 4,200. And the economic development transportation vehicle is 30,000. In our debt service fees, we needed to do an amendment for $500 for increases in bank fees. And then we're going to need to transfer another $30,000 to the senior fund in order to purchase their vehicle.
Any questions, Phyllis, on number 11?
Phyllis, you had talked about looking at different banks associated with the fees since SunTrust is no longer in the city. Do you know when that's going to start, or has it already?
No, it has not started. That is something we could do, and I guess I'm kind of stalling on it because it's such a big project, because we have so many ACHs that are been set up for years. Every single employee, has direct deposit, and that would mean a change in that. So I've kind of been procrastinating, I guess you'd say, on that. It was nice and convenient when SunTrust was across the street. Of course, now they're in Smyrna. But that is something we probably will look into at some point in time.
Any further questions for number 11? Puts us down to number 12. First reading ordinance 2018-10, ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2017-2018 water and sewer fund budget.
Again, we're doing some amendments here from the water and sewer fund for health insurance for the water, sewer, and the water billing department. For the sewer departments, we're doing $21,036. Water department, $21,036. We're also doing an amendment for the 3 trucks for the water department, and two of the water department, one of them is for the meter leak detection guys. And then we have a hydraulic power unit for $15,000 that we're doing an amendment on, and then the water billing portion of the health insurance was $85,669 for a total of $175,641.
Any questions, Phyllis, on number 12? Put us down to 13, our first reading ordinance 2018-11, ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2017-2018 stormwater fund budget.
Yep. Again, same thing. Due to our health insurance costs going up, we're doing an amendment to add more funds to our reserve. For the stormwater fund, we're going to be expensing at $13,731 more dollars this year than what we budgeted for.
Number 14, resolution 2018-05, a resolution to authorize the mayor to execute a interlocal corporation to mutual aid agreement with the Rutherford County Law Enforcement Agency to provide one another to mutual aid to law enforcement. Chief Walker.
This is basically an update on what's been in place for a number of years with municipalities, the county, et cetera, having a mutual aid agreement to work with one another on law enforcement functions as a whole, is what that first part says. We get specifically into some things that we're doing a lot more of, though, and that's working with sharing of gang data, information, et cetera, and a whole lot of other things, because we all share the same ne'er-do-goods, to be honest with you. It's a mobile society. And all this is just under state statute that allows us to do that and work together.
Any questions for Chief on the resolution?
It also would cover us in the event we needed to go back to Murfreesboro for an event like we had last October or something similar, so.
Appreciate it, Chief. We're down to number 15, resolution 2018-06, a resolution of the city of Laverne, Board of Mayor and Aldermen to declare property owned by the city to be surplus to the city needs and direct disposal of the same. This concludes light fixtures, no pressure washer, police department light bar, fold-down tables, 2 more seats, some old logs and some fence posts, and some purple office chairs. Am I right? Any questions on the surplus stuff? Number 16, appoint or remove board members. One term is vacant, and that's the person, the senior citizen advisor, Sylvia Pettigo. She has been removed, and we have no applicants at this time. So if we don't have nobody, we'll just remove this from the agenda for Tuesday. So that puts us down to 17. Discussion, purchase of property for fire department headquarters. Station 1, Chief Clark.
Chris can talk, and then if y'all want to be mean.
Oh, you're gonna double up on us. But 2's always better than 1.
I'm just gonna get up here so y'all can holler at somebody and leave.
For the last year and a half, not only have we been looking for an admin office room, we're growing. We've also looked at several pieces of property within the city to determine the best place that we would need for a headquarters. Currently, Station 1, as you know, the current conditions, very small, about 1,400 square feet, that houses about 6 people daily, 365, no closets, 1 bathroom. However, at other stations, we have other equipment that are sitting outside. We looked at 2 pieces of property several months ago, and they ended up being a dead end. One piece of property ended up being not as large as we thought it would be, and it would probably take more money to renovate a building than we would be to tear it down and build a new facility. The second piece of property, we met a dead end as far as the pricing. We felt like that this just would not work. So our end result, as you know, back in 2015, you had a facility study that one of the options was to place a headquarters at the location of the Civic Center. And that's where we would like permission to possibly move forward to that location. Now, there's other things that we would have to do and all those kind of things. But I invited an architect down to just discuss, just see if a facility would fit on that piece of property. He felt very confident that it would, and that it would be a great location for this fire station, considering through, as the crow flies, is probably, I don't know, half a mile or less from the current Station 1.
I guess the only other thing I'd like to add to that, just so that the public does know, I know that building does have some historical value to the people of Laverne. A lot of those people have come in and met with us since we've been in there and as admin. They've been very cordial to us during the time we've been in there. Actually pretty glad that it's being used for something like the fire service. We've mentioned to a few of them that since this has come up and the need for the property is there for a headquarters for fire, we've brought that up to so many as well as come in, and everybody seems to agree that it would not be that big of a deal to them if it was being utilized for something like the fire department. However, when the firm did come down last week and talk to us, I asked, because I am a person that believes in keeping our history of Laverne intact as much as possible. I do like the fact, as with the rock building, I'll go ahead and tell you, I still am upset that we can't get everything we need on the rock building plot over there, because that building's been here a long time. So the Civic Auditorium to me does have some historic value to the people of Laverne and to Laverne itself. So we asked the architects that were in to talk to us if there was any way we could remove portions of that building and place them into the new facility. Because it would also be our request that we put a same size, actually a little bit smaller area inside the new fire headquarters to be a civic room. It would encumber a small kitchenette, probably a little smaller than the kitchen that's in the current civic admin building, as well as some small restrooms for as well, but then maybe incorporate the old wood floor that we've kept in that administrative building and put back into that, or use a portion of that floor for some type of decoration or something inside that building to keep a piece of Laverne history as part of that station, and give the people of Laverne a place to be able to hold functions again on that side of town, over on that side of the tracks. So we would ask that if we do get the permission from the council to move forward with that location for our fire headquarters, that we also be able to do that civic room as part of that building headquarters at the same time. We'd be able to share that kitchenette as well with the training facility that we're putting in there. As we said, we're going to put a training room that's in it that's big enough to facilitate all of our firefighters and staff at one time for a meeting. Right now, we're not capable of doing that. Obviously, we'd be sharing with the police department until they can get a facility up to where they can have a room big enough to do that. It would be big enough for them to have an entire departmental meeting in one room as well at one time. The headquarters itself, it does have a lot of features to it. One of those things as well, because we try to think about everybody when we're doing this. One of it is actually for a separate little area for the police department to be able to come in and take reports from that area, or do reports, relieve themselves, get coffee, whatever that they might need to do. There'd be a small area in the headquarters for that as well. So we're trying to make this all one big project for that. But as Chris said, it is big enough. They even did a mock layout. It's not exactly what it will look like, but you can see if you scroll on through, you'll see on the last page. They're estimating it to be about 24,000 square feet total if we do the civic room addition on it as well. And like I said, that civic room would hold about 125 people. Then the training room itself would hold 125. So one of the other things that was brought up by the architects was to make that civic room a storm-ready room, which, you know, we're trying to do the same thing with the senior building for this side of town. He did bring that up, and then when we come in and brought this to Bruce, that was one of the very first things he brought up. Could we do part of this building, or all of this building, or some part of this building as a storm-ready section? So we could do that as well. We'd be able to make that civic room into a storm-ready for people on that side of the tracks. So there's just a whole lot of things that we could do. We do own the property, so obviously there's no property purchase that would have to be made there. And there's really, after a long time, Chris has put a lot of wear and tear on the tires looking for property. We all have. There's just nothing left that will hold a facility of that size. Because, you know, we're looking at also putting an actual training facility on that site, either with the project or at some point thereafter. So it's our request that we be given permission to be able to utilize that piece of property for a new fire headquarters and civic building.
Any questions for Ricky or Chris on the?
I have some questions.
Okay.
No, not attacks, just questions.
No, I understand. That's a lot there's a lot involved in this. It's probably the biggest project of anything I've ever dealt with.
Probably gonna have a whole lot of questions, but I'm just gonna ask you a few right now. That facility, the way the property sits, is there enough room for you to pull out your fire apparatus onto Old Nashville Highway?
I'll let Chris speak a little on that, because he come out with a layout actually I like better than the architects did, so, or that the architects brought to us. So.
Yes. One of the things that we looked at as far as accessing Old Nashville Highway, that would be where our main entrance to Old Nashville Highway would be. So you would be a front lane, bays in the front of Old Nashville Highway. They would enter and go through the back of the station through Gamble Lane area.
Right.
Increased traffic, probably none. As far as on an administrative side of it, it is our desires to possibly bring that administrative parking through Gamble Lane as well. So really the only thing that would be coming out on Old Nashville Highway within the apron of the fire department would be the fire trucks. As far as the exit, I assume, I cannot speak exactly, but my anticipation that the exit will be out through Gamble Lane, in and out as far as through traffic, things like that. Anticipation, however, those things are subject to change because we don't even have the precise layout, and that's the reason we're coming to you to maybe even entertain and move forward with that.
Because there are a lot of things involved in this. You know, right now, the architect had drawn it up as a one-story building, but once he got over and saw the elevation off of one side to the left, rather than putting a lot of rock work in, he said it would be the perfect setting there for us to just do a two-story on that end. The bays are gonna be tile anyway, so it would look like a single story from a site, a distance, but in all actuality, you would have a two-story building on one end. There is two pieces of property. I think the mayor had mentioned one from the church. They've got a little piece of property behind it that they're looking at selling, I think. And then there's another piece over on the opposite side that's being looked at to be sold. We did talk to the architects about that. Now, you're talking about a lot of parking. If we do the civic center, build the civic room there, and then we had a training going on that might overlap a little bit in the afternoons or something like that, or on a weekend. That's a lot of parking to be done there. So they did advise us if we could purchase part of each one of those or one of those at least to use that for overflow parking. Because both of those areas are actually under the high tension wires, which the only thing we'd really want to or could put there would be parking.
So, with the anticipated population growth of Rutherford County and Laverne specifically, would this house more than your current Station 1 would house as far as firemen?
It's designed for future growth for 12 personnel that will stay in that station. Shift commander, a ladder company, an engine company, and then a rescue company. That's your main normal industrial standard for a headquarters. However,
we have your admin. The admin portion would be there as well, so they would put all of us in that building as well.
12 personnel living 365. Living 365. And then you have your additional administrative personnel that would be their normal business hours that would be separated from the operations part of it. And then you'll have, your normal visitors and things like that. But it is our goal to build it not only for the present, but, additional 2 or 3 men later on down the road where we do have that room. I don't want to just build it and, we're short now. So it's 12 personnel. Currently, we have 6 that are housed at Station 1 currently.
Okay. And then my last question for now. The plans are to house all the equipment that's from Station 1 that's currently sitting outside. That would be...
Yes, ma'am. Every station, most of our equipment that's sitting outside now is under a partial metal awning that we purchased. Both of our trailers for about $1 million worth of hazmat trailers are sitting under a 3-sided shed right now. There's just a lot of equipment that we have outdoors that we really need to get inside. That trailer's already had to be redone once because of the weather getting to it. The air conditioner and heating on it, we can't keep it up. We've got a fan that blows on it in the summertime trying to keep the air conditioner from going out on it. So, but yes, ma'am, that would put every piece of equipment that we have, including our 6-wheeler for our off-road incidents and stuff like that. That would put everything under climate controlled roof.
And then as we build, that's probably where most of what you saw as far as our water rescue,
right,
our specialized equipment, it'll be center located in town instead of one on each area. We can get here and there. Those are the things that we're building toward the future. In the next 3 to 5 years, we'll have that capability. It's a great need. Like you said, you've seen the problem with Station 1. We have more problem parking every morning.
Right, yeah.
And going to the bathrooms, because we got one bathroom.
Right.
And that's male and female. So, I was with them today. They got their check off and they cooked some breakfast. It is a fiasco just to get 3 or 4 of them in the kitchen to eat breakfast. So we're growing, and we're looking forward to hopefully moving forward in the future and making things happen.
A lot of the storage area too, asking about space and for future growth and all. This would relieve a lot off of Station 3 and Station 2 as well, where there's a lot of storage area that's being utilized that's really not storage area in those 2 stations. This new headquarters would accommodate proper storage areas for that stuff to be able to put in. But right now, we've turned the hallway at Station 3 into a medical storage closet. You know, so it'll open those stations back up for their proper use, the way they were designed and they were built to be used. It'll put them back to that state, because now we know what we need, we know what we've got, and pretty much know what we're gonna be looking at in the near future. So we'll be able to put all of that into this design and get everything that we need under one roof.
With Old Nashville Highway and Gamble, are the roads going to be wide enough, you think, in those specific areas for the trucks to pull in and out on both sections? Because I know it looks pretty tight here from Gamble getting around the building.
One of the things that we have to look at is as we lay that apron out toward Old Nashville Highway, that gives them an angle, provides an angle for them to go to either left or right. Now, of course, future development, as you see the study of Old Nashville Highway corridor, hopefully that will add to it. Of course, we have the right-of-ways and things. But having an apron that would be in front of it, it provides us an angle to turn left or right. So yes, it would be able to. I do foresee Gamble Lane turning in left from here, coming from here, turning in left every day. That's an issue. I don't care what you're doing.
Right.
All times of the day, there's traffic stopped and they're backing up. So, thankfully, y'all are looking at this study as far as the Old Nashville Highway corridor. I never knew how much traffic was there until I worked there. And leaving at 5 o'clock in the evening, it is
It's a lot of traffic.
A lot of people turns left there in the evenings.
Yes, there is.
A lot of people. I lived about 10 years down in Gamble Lane, and that's a busy corner.
And what we don't have control over is once you hit Smyrna, down there at the mall, Lowe's, and Sam Ridley at Old Nashville, good luck, because it's going to take you a few minutes.
And another problem we've got over there is about 3:30 to about 4:30 p.m. every school day with school buses.
Mm-hmm.
Old
And I
Nashville
also saw
Highway
a
at 4
gentleman
o'clock.
at 7 o'clock in the morning riding a go-kart on Old Nashville Highway doing about 30.
You got a radio call?
Yeah, he comes by my house about 7 o'clock. He lives in my neighborhood.
That's the mayor coming to work.
You didn't
Like
call
5 o'clock
either.
Charlie on the maze.
I couldn't report it because I was too amazed.
He's kind of like that show on Maze, 5 o'clock Charlie.
Yeah.
At time he come down my street wide open.
We call that job security.
Yeah.
Yes. Is there any, I can assure you, you'll have plenty more questions, because every time I look at these things, I come up with 5 more I need to ask myself. So is there any more questions that we could answer for you?
Ricky, is there any space as far as for partnership? I know I've talked to several of our commissioners about like the ambulance situation here in the city, where realistically we have one ambulance in the city. If they decide to graciously bless us with another ambulance, would there be any room for that?
I don't think there would be any reason that we could not. If we are wanting to entertain that idea, the only thing I think we would possibly run short on is we would want to put in that construction a living quarters, a small living quarters, bunk room, so to speak. They could share the other quarters, the kitchen, no. But as far as the Bay Area, I think there would be plenty there to put an ambulance. But as far as living conditions, we probably would want to add a room or two.
Their waging hours is different than ours.
Right.
They base theirs on a 40-hour work.
Mm-hmm.
So, however, their sleep and things are a little bit different. Work the same hours, but the work is different. So based on the the downtime, the only thing that we possibly had to do is separate our bedrooms from theirs. So when the horn goes off for us, it doesn't wake them up. And then whenever their horn wakes them up, it's gonna wake us up too, because we're going on the same clock.
Another issue on that, we own that property across the street, so that could be
And very well, because you
you know,
obviously, you know, they're.
that'd be perfect size
they're-
for
They have very
that.
small buildings that they're using
Yeah.
for single bay.
So that
But
could be
I think-
revitalized for that.
I think we could probably work it into the plan to put them in the housing with us, and we would have absolutely no problem with them. They come and eat dinner with the guys every night just about anyway, so, you know.
It would be the first adventure that Rutherford County EMS ever took as far as axes and
Right.
scissors mixing.
Yeah.
Just to be honest, and that's the terminology.
Yeah.
But I think we got the right people in place to do that.
Right.
If there was ever an adventure toward consolidating a little bit, I think these groups that we have in place, police chief, us, city manager, I do believe it would be the time. And I don't mind going down there and speaking to them
Right.
to look and see if they would be willing for a joint adventure as far as being housed with us.
And this architectural firm, when they were out too, I was very impressed with their presentation when they came out, because they look into the future as well, as far as future additions. They try not to landlock a building to where you can't do something later with it as well. Even if later on you needed to add another bay or extend the bay out, they were very, very aware of doing something like that as well. So their bigger concern was parking. You know, put as much parking as you could possibly put there. It was their recommendation. So
Like I say, them two parcels, it's with the church and with
Yes,
the, on the other side, with them electric lines
Yes,
coming
sir.
through.
Because there's
Nobody
absolutely
can
nothing
use that
else
for
anybody
parking
can do with
anyway,
that
so-
property. The only thing you can do there is leave it just like it is, or put a parking lot underneath it.
No
because of the
building
high
can ever
tension
be
wire.
built there, so that could be
Yes.
used for additional
And
parking.
even just one section of it
Right.
is plenty for overflow parking and things like that. That lot's really bigger once you look at the plat, and when you look at it on there, it's really a whole lot bigger than it looks.
How many acres is it, do you know?
It's, yeah, a little over 3.
Yeah, it's under
If we-
4 acres.
Right.
One of the things that I have asked is they try to build that around the current facility that's there, so don't know if they can, but would ask just due to the logistics of office and things like that. It may be impossible, but we have asked for a continuation of operation there while they are.
And it may be that it's just part of the time that, you know, and then we'd have to find somewhere. Chris and I are fine. We got very used to being in a vehicle and operating, going station to station during the day and doing things we need to do with them, the meetings, the back and forth to Nashville and Murfreesboro. The only housing we'd really need to do would be for the fire marshal and for our admin assistant, which we could squeeze that in for the short period of time it would be maybe at Station 2 or something like that. We'd love to keep it centrally located, but we do have a contingency plan if we can't stay in that building.
Well, we got that property across the street.
Correct. I mean, we could even put it in a temporary building over there. Just put in a temporary roll in, like the schools do. We'll just go to Laverne High School and take one.
There you go.
So, but we will put metal racks leading up to them instead of the wood ones, like they're supposed to be. Any other questions?
Thank you, Ricky. Chris, thank you. That puts us down to 18. Discuss motion to approve a proposal agreement with Johnson and Bailey Architect for PC for the design of the new fire department headquarters, Station 1. We pretty well, I think we pretty well covered that.
Yes, sir, that's the
That's the same thing we just discussed, so.
My only question is, do you want this on the agenda for Tuesday night, or do you want to wait? It's really up to the board.
right.
Basically, by approving this proposal, you're saying to go ahead and move forward with using this civic property. for
They
the new
did, if you
headquarters.
notice when you're reading through your packet, they did put a timeline there, a semi-timeline. Nothing's perfect, as we all know. Nothing's even been surveyed yet, but they did kind of give a timeline of, that's there in your packet of groundbreaking if we started moving now. So,
Well, everybody knows my feeling about the Civic. You know, my dad, he helped build that Civic in the mid-70s. You know, it's got sort of a sentimental value, but last time I was over and y'all have ruined it. Well, I know it's never gonna go back to the Civic again, so,
The floor is
you know,
beautiful.
I always thought if y'all was gonna tear it down, I was gonna handcuff myself to the front door, but, you know, I don't have no problem with it. It served its purpose, just like Fire Station One.
Yes, sir.
I rode my bicycle on the concrete slab before they put the walls up, but it served its purpose well, so it's, you know, it's time for Station One to get replaced.
Yes, sir.
So I don't have no problem with it. Anybody else?
Phyllis, if we move forward with this project, the $430,000 for the engineering, that would come out of this fiscal year budget, or would it come out of the following one?
What's y'all's timeline?
Yeah, I would think if you look into the exact dates as it's broke down, Bruce, you may be able to tell them a little bit better, but there may be a very, very small portion that would be in this part, but.
I haven't found the timeline in here, but basically, you would just pay it as it's accrued.
Correct, right.
So it would be just pay as you go. I would say the majority of it would be in the next fiscal year. There will probably be some startup cost in this current fiscal year, but I'd say the vast majority would be next year. And a lot of it really won't be paid until after the project is bid out.
Correct.
Because it's based on
off of
the bid
correct.
that's put out there. And I do want to state also that this proposal agreement has been sent to Evan to review. I've not heard his comments back yet on this, so this is just a draft that's in the packets. I hope to have a final copy by Tuesday night.
And Bruce, on the price tag of the basically $7.5 million, that would have to be bonded out, correct?
Yes, more than likely. I don't see any other way to do that, yeah.
Also, this, as you can see in there, this is a local architectural firm as well. You can see in there they've not named the locality, but they do specialize in fire stations and have done some very close to us here. So you'd actually be able to see what type of architectural work that they've done and what type of builders that they've worked with in this county.
Say this, excuse me, go ahead. Go ahead.
So where? You're not allowed to say?
Murfreesboro, Station 4 that's being built on Medical Center Parkway. Also, the future development of Station 11 that will be on Blaze Drive and Fortress. And several county and city schools. I do not have the names of those.
It's okay.
But the plans, a lot of it came from Station 11 that's fixing to be built in Murfreesboro. And portion that bays are bays. And then we'd have to design the office area. This, what you saw is just kind of an overall summary. So we have a lot of work to do. There's nothing nailed down. We're just eager to at least make the first step.
What I was gonna ask you, Phyllis, do we have any bonds that's gonna be paid off in the next couple of years?
The next thing that'll be paid off will be the radios, and I think that's in 19.
19. The communications.
That's
is
only,
in 19.
it's probably only 70 or 80,000 a year.
Oh, gosh.
And I think, and then the next bonds are 2022 or 2023 is when they start
Yeah.
dropping off.
It is possible that this could be structured in a way to where the majority of the cost won't hit until after these other bonds,
Right.
fall off.
So, we ain't talking about, had to raise property tax, it could be further down where it wouldn't really be noticeable in the overall picture.
Generally the way that Ashley structures those is that he looks at our schedule and he'll look at the years that we have bonds that are dropping off. And if it's not too far out, we'll just pay interest for the first couple of years, and then the principal will kick in whenever those old bonds drop off.
And to be honest with you, Mayor, my experience building these type of stations. You're talking, if we started right now, we're looking at 2 years.
At least.
At least. Because you got weather, you got other, we have to come to you for different things, which takes a month at a time. it's a long, drawn-out process.
It'll take a year just to design it.
Yeah, I mean, getting the designs and things, and then we're gonna have to bid it out, which that company helps us gather all those materials, and they will write the bid and help us bid this out. It's a step of many steps as we go.
You'd probably see operation of that station somewhere around 2020.
Because you figure about, it's possible it could be, y'all can move in 4 years.
It's not like building a warehouse that we watch them throw up overnight, you know, up here in Tech Park. You're talking about a very intricate building. So even the construction alone of that's gonna take a while. It's not gonna be an overnight project by any means. Now, the money is the same, no matter how you look at it, but I guess the thing is, it can be pushed out a little bit that way. Like Phyllis said, you pay a little on the front end and pay the bulk on the back end.
We probably got enough cash reserve to pay a little bit upfront cash and then, pay the rest of it after some of them bonds, and then that wouldn't affect nothing, the bottom line nowhere.
If you'll remember, just to give you an example, when we did the 2009 bond for Walden Road, if you remember last year, we had to move the principal over to general fund because that, of course, that fund couldn't sustain that. But that's 2009, and last year was 2016, 17. So from 2009 to 16, we only paid interest. So that kind of gives you an idea how long you can stretch it out.
And you're talking about a safe room there. We could get some donations for that.
It's a very good possibility, yes.
So we could.
And those are the type of decisions, like we said, we need to, there's a lot of things for everybody to talk and discuss about this.
Yeah, we'd certainly look at grants and other opportunities for funding as well.
And those could be things that come and are being worked on as the project is moving forward as well.
I guess what, Bruce, you need to know, if we want it to be on Tuesday night for a vote. We need to tell Bruce one way or the other. I don't have no problem with it.
What I'll
Can I
do
just
is,
suggest, I'm sorry,
what I'll do is I'll go ahead and leave it on the agenda for now.
that's what I was gonna
And
suggest.
if anybody wants me to take it off the agenda,
Okay.
just call me.
I mean, if we run into something or if other questions come up, then we can ask for a deferment.
Yes,
But
exactly.
I don't see, I mean, we can, it's like trying to hide an elephant in the room. You can't do it. It's gonna be there. So just let's,
And I don't know, this may be a Bruce answer more than anything. I don't mind calling this gentleman that represents this company and have him come and speak to you as far as laying and putting this in English of what he's produced for us. And, this is what we've ran into.
He does
This
make
is-
you feel a lot better about it,
Yeah.
the way he puts it to you. Now, that's his job too, but he does give you a better feeling about it in the way he can explain it to you than we can.
That would be up to y'all.
Well, it ain't like this is gonna be a $30 million new city hall, is it, Bruce?
Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
Well, it depends on where you read it at, Mayor. That's all where you read it at.
All right, we're down to 19. Discuss office hours at City Hall.
Good evening, Mayor, Aldermen. I'd like to discuss our modified city scheduling pilot. The city has embarked upon progressive work schedule modification in support of creating greater service opportunities to citizens, constituents, and vendors. The current modified work week for a majority of the departments within the city affords additional customer service time for addressing needed face-to-face interactions and other applicable service needs. Current City Hall hours, operating along with a few other city buildings, are Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Fire, police, senior center, library, and public works Emergency services hours did not change. Community customer service needs have not been negated or overlooked in any form or fashion. Careful structuring and planning ensued in an effort to prevent or temper any negativity in opposition to this new concept. Our original goal or aim to provide more business connectivity by increasing workday hours has been our driving force behind the modification. As with any newly introduced concept, we experienced a few questionable responses that triggered concerted research and review to help shore up the success of the launch of the pilot. We skillfully navigated through needed communication tactics, customer expectations, exploration of employee situational nuances, concerns, and feedback from both internal and external customers, stakeholders, as well as the Board of Mayor and Aldermen before taking the steps to bring this pilot to fruition. Tremendous effort was taken by city administration to carefully lay out the groundwork for needed steps for successful desired outcome. Prudent steps and measures were exercised to ensure the success of transition. I can attest that we have not encountered nor experienced any major or overwhelming problems, kickback, etc., from citizens, residents, vendors, constituents, or employees. The project has been deemed a morale builder for employees in the way of providing flexibility for employees to have extra time for family and personal life balance. Time off for needed appointments, mini vacations, excursions to coincide with school breaks, emergent situations, and to assist less tenured employees with little benefits time at the start of service. Ultimately, the pilot program was aimed to help our customers, which is still the pinnacle and primary reason to make the transition. As noted, this pilot program took effect May 1st, 2017, with a projected culminating date of May 1st, 2018. As we approach the targeted pilot assessment review date, a plethora of questions and evaluation points have surfaced that impact the need to clearly ascertain the effectiveness of the pilot program. We are currently gathering data in an effort to review and analyze the benefits or any inefficiency that may have impacted service in the past 10 months as a result of the modified scheduling. Further benchmarking data is needed to clearly discern if this has been beneficial or advantageous to our constituents and internal and external customers. Thus, the need to consider an extension with the program until August 1st, 2019 to see the totality of savings, customer service utilization tracking related to new hours of operation, and overall city business operation impact in the ways of attendance, overtime, and utility expense. Currently, there is not enough data for a full fiscal year cycle for comparison of said benchmark factors to readily make a prudent decision or recommendation to make this a permanent schedule change at this time. We want to ensure that this concept is cost-effective, meritorious, and overall customer service friendly. Under the purview of the city administrator's duties and responsibilities of designating, establishing, and executing day-to-day business operations, I, along with other city department leaders, will continue to work collegially to study quantitative and qualitative data for comparative purpose in assessing the tangible merits of the pilot. As Human Resources Director, I so kindly seek the continued support of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen as we continue to benchmark and assess the true merit of the pilot for optimal customer service outcomes. So that's in a nutshell. We want to continue this pilot for another year, but we want to carry it through till August so we can really assess the fiscal year cycle to make a true comparison. And the only way to do that would be to do an extension. So we're just hoping, and we're very hopeful that the board will continue to support our effort to benchmark and to provide ultimate customer service to our community and our constituents and our vendors. Any concerns?
Well, one question I've got, and when we done it last year, it was going to be a savings through the electricity. But, comparing one year to the next is hard because one year we had a mild, weather season, and then the other one we had more of a extreme weather. So it's hard to see how much money we saved on electricity because I think last year we had a more milder winter than this year. So, that was one thing that was brought up. We could save on electricity and stuff like that, but it was hard. It was hard to compare oranges to apples because the 1 year was more extreme cold than the other.
And we have not had any major outbreaks or any major concerns or fallouts because of the schedule. We just want to make sure that everybody is comfortable before we make the recommendation, again, through administrative means, to consider it as a permanent opportunity for the city.
So what information with this extension, are you hoping to be able to gather that hasn't been available in the last year?
Again, we don't have the full fiscal year cycle, so we need to look at utility expense, overtime, things as far as we're tracking. Matter of fact, we're starting to track the number of individuals who are coming first thing in the morning between 7 and 8 a.m., as well as coming 4:30 to 5:30. So we can do some more statistical analysis to figure out how beneficial has it really been.
Okay, so that's something that we've not been tracking so far.
Not all along, no, we have not.
Well, we wanted to get the program established because, obviously when you first change over, you're not going to have as many people using the service as you will now. Now that we're about a year in, we're going to, start monitoring those things more closely and have some better numbers for you. I will say that it appears, judging by the first 6 months or so of the fiscal year, that our overtime is down some. I don't have any exact numbers with me, but it does appear that overtime is down a little bit. But as far as energy, I've looked at the electric bills, for the last couple of years, and it's just really hard to tell. There again, it does look like it's down some, but it's hard to compare with the different weather patterns that have come through.
Any additional thoughts or concerns?
One thing I just want to point out too is that it's really difficult to put a dollar value on how happy our residents are, and also how happy and our employees are. And so employee morale helps them service our customers better, and our customers are the residents of Laverne. So not everything can be quantified in dollars and cents.
That's true. That is very true.
I think another thing too, as we look at it, as far as an extension and when you look into it, we're going to end up, this is going to expand even more as we, because I wasn't aware until Phyllis brought it to our attention in one of the meetings that even if it's a Friday and an individual has a problem, one of her people's got a laptop and they can still take care of the problems. So, I just think this is going to expand. As you look at all of these companies now, there are actually companies that are shutting down because they're letting people work from home because it saves them that overhead. So I just, not that we're going to shut down City Hall, but I just think that it's going to expand with everything, with the automated system and with everybody being able to pay over the phone or, just drop a credit card. I just think I see it expanding, and I think the numbers are going to look good, and I would look forward to you getting the extra time to get us the actual report on that.
Well, we thank you for taking the time to listen and to hear the pros and the cons and to explore other avenues to make sure that this will be something that will be beneficial to our residents and our constituents overall.
Any further questions for Cheryl? If they have, we can always call you.
That's right.
We can always call you. Thank you, Cheryl.
Okay,
Good job.
Thank you.
That puts us down to number 20, motion to approve or reject settlement offer for the Michael Mullins lawsuit. The executive session will be held on April 3rd, 2018 at 5:30. That's before the meeting, and that should be meeting only. This puts us down to mayor and alderman comments. Alderman Cole.
Just want to welcome the 3 new officers that were sworn in earlier today. Is it pronounced Cena? Cena, Hollis, and Saunders. Also wanted to welcome Scarlett Faye McCormick, who was recently born to Alan McCormick of the fire department. Want to thank Parks and Rec and Box 100 for help with the Easter egg hunt. I know Alderman Jones was there. It was definitely a fun occasion, a few surprises mixed in there as well. That happened, but it's always happening. And I just wanted to ask that people remember Officer Howell with the police department, Officer Kraus, I'm sorry. Of course, Kyle Brown and Donna with the library.
Alderman Brown.
I'd like to take the opportunity to ask everyone to keep our mayor in your thoughts. He's had a lot of family illness and death in his family the last week or so, and some of those are still surviving and struggling right now. So I would just really appreciate your prayers for his family and also for Lucille's family. Also, last Friday, I was able to attend an event at Motlow University, or Motlow Community College, which is over in Smyrna. I crossed the boundaries from Laverne into Smyrna. I did so in my personal vehicle on my personal time that I had taken off from work to go to that groundbreaking ceremony for their Building 3. I know that there are a lot of residents in Laverne that use Motlow as a community college to get their education, and that there's going to be even more with Tennessee Reconnect and the Drive to 55 of Governor Bill Haslam, that we're going to continue to increase and improve our education of Laverne residents. That also means that the college is located in Smyrna, but there's a lot of Laverne folks that go there. And I am one of the people that graduated from there. I graduated in 2015 with an associate's in information technology. It is a great school, and I was thrilled to be a part of that. State Representative Mike Sparks was there, along with State Representative Don White. The governor was there. There was a lot of representatives from Smyrna as well, so it was a really good opportunity to fellowship basically with our fellow community members and work together towards a good education for our citizens. So I was thrilled to be a part of that.
Alderman Jones.
I'd like to piggyback on that with the condolences, and also I'd like to send out my condolences for Lucy and the Lund family. Also, Gail Warpool and her brother Wayne Merritt. I would like to extend my condolences to them for the passing of their mother, Miss Dorothy Merritt. They had her funeral today over at Laverne Church of Christ. And I would just like to say that, you know, in a situation like this, when you think that, you know, when things are coming at you like they are, I would hope that everyone knows that they've got someone that they can go and talk to. You need to find someone to go and talk to. A few years ago, when my mother passed, being up here by myself and just me and my daughter, it was a hard thing. You know, you try to go to work, you try to internalize it, but you don't want to do that. You just talk to somebody, and just don't be too proud to reach out for help when things like that happen to you. And I would wish that everyone would utilize any of the, as far as the employees of the city, we've got counseling that's available for you, or anything that's needed, and I would hope that everyone utilizes it. It works, just to you know, get it off your chest. Thank you.
I also want to think about the officers. I went over there. I was a little bit late for the swearing in, but I can vouch. It was good cake, Chief. It was good cake. And last month I told you that Mr. Ingalls got the Civilian Congressional Medal of Honor. I mentioned his was Jamie, but that's his father, Robert Caleb Ingalls. I want to congratulate him. He got the award for the Civilian Congressional Medal of Honor in Washington, D.C. Friday, March 23rd. He was raised in Laverne. His father worked in Laverne, Jamie, and his grandmother worked here for a number of years. And he received that Medal of Honor in Washington, D.C. Friday, March 23rd, and I know we're all proud of him. And remember, he's the young man that confronted the shooter at the Burnett Chapel Church next door here in Antioch on Laverne Capitol Pike in September 2017. And I want to remember people about the library hosting a free income tax assistance on Friday, April the 6th, and Friday, April the 13th. People is on hand to help fill out your income tax. Any further information, you can call the library, but the only stipulation I know of that the household income has got to be $66,000 or under, and you can stop over them 2 days and get your income tax filled out for free. Wishing everybody a happy Easter Sunday, and like I say, keep the Merritt family in their prayers. And March has been rough for my family. It's been a bad month, and it's not over yet. And I thank everybody for the prayers, the emails, the letters, the phone calls, and the baskets. And that being said, I'm going to call this workshop done.